I'm gonna just start right at the start, if that's all right with you.
Yeah, please.
Which is like, how did you get into football?
From my entire life.
Just like let's say the first time that you played football.
First time I played football, probably trying to play with my older brother and his friends at school. He was like 5 years above me, and I was probably like really, really young, trying to play with them. And then just throughout primary school, nothing serious, but like on the field, like it was all the girls and boys who played together. It was like totally not a thing, I guess. Yeah.
So that was like, so that was just like informal.
Yeah.
Same. I didn't join a team until I was like 11 or 12 or something.
But I think actually I remember my brother was on a team. He didn't really want to go, but my mum and dad like kind of made him. And I think I like begged to go, but couldn't. They wouldn't really let me because I was a girl. But I remember like I had gone to like, a couple of things, and my brother went to this like award show, and I wanted to go along, but my parents were like, no, don't go. And I went just to like be in that sort of atmosphere. And I ended up winning like an award when I was. I think I must have been like playing for a team then when I was like maybe 9 or 10. Not seriously, but I think I did a couple games.
Was that like mixed or?
I think so. Yeah, I think it would have been. I think so. I really don't remember, but I do remember that. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So okay, and then flashing forward, I guess, to have you ever joined a team?
Yeah, well, a lot. When I was like 14, I played for a girls' side for a year, and that was great. And then I tried to join a team last year. Didn't really work out. Was it last year? A couple of years ago, maybe. But I recently just joined a new team, which is really like trans friendly.
Who's that?
Goaldiggers.
Okay.
You heard of them?
No, it's interesting because I thought that I was quite aware of the London-based teams.
Oh really?
But like as it turns out, I've just been aware of Queer Space and Truck.
Oh yeah, I played with Queer Space like a lot. That not only with like training and stuff, but that was like a few years ago. It was just kind of a kick about in the park.
Yeah, because that's not like actual matches. Oh, I think it is matches, but like not like.
Yeah, they do friendlies now and again, but yeah, it was mainly just like a kick about in Victoria Park.
Okay, cool. So, sorry, can you tell me a little bit about Goaldiggers? Because I know literally nothing about them.
They're really like, they've become really like really popular. They've got a lot of sponsors and stuff, and they have like a huge wait list, and like I think it's like over 200 members. And my friend Kira, she like plays for them. And anyway, they were telling like Kira's like my girlfriend's best friend, and we were talking. So, I really want to like play, but it's really hard to find a team because no one wants. Where do I go? Blah blah. And they're like, oh come, play for Goaldiggers. They're basically just this. They're like they play in the women's league, but it's like women, non-binary people, trans women. I don't think trans men are allowed, but it's like very trans inclusive.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like, is it like so trans men are not formally allowed, or it's like the structure of it is just like non-binary and
yeah,
women?
I think they say it's not for men, trans or cis or trans, rather. Yeah.
Very. Also a question. I've been asking everybody this because I'm like fantasy football team. What position do you play in?
Probably like either striker or right wing, but mainly centre forward.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So far, I am building this team. So far, nobody has given the same answer.
Really? Oh, great.
Yes.
What
We've got a
do you
goalie,
play?
we've got a defence, we've got midfielder, like an attack midfielder, and we've got a striker so far.
Cool, perfect.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that we live in one of the others lives in London, but like, yeah. Apart from the fact that we live in different places in the country, we're so solid. I'm just really interested in like, yeah. Sorry, can I ask, this is maybe like a slightly vague question, but why do you like playing, like forward?
Forward.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that like, I'm not really. I don't know. I think like playing forward is just about like having a go and like decision making, like when to get the ball and when to like execute. And I feel like that's like what a lot of like loads of people are like kind of like scared to like kick the ball. Like I think like women typically like lack that kind of like unbridled like confidence, just like not really give a fuck, and I think that I can like do that in a kind of camp way, because I kind of do it in like a self-aware way. Like sometimes I just like really like shoot, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, but like I think it takes a certain like thing to do that, and I think I can do that. I like to do that.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, the reason that I am in defense is because I'm so anxious.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it's not even like I'm not like drawn to defense technically. I'm just like, but if the ball is down there and I'm not, then I have to be down there. I don't know. It's very. I don't know. I'm curious because I was like, oh yeah, so I have real reasons for being in defense, and so far also everybody's had like some very interesting answers around like. Because I think, yeah, I don't know if it has anything to do with what draws us to football or not, but it's just interesting. Which actually, I can ask you that as well. Like, what is it about football that you really like?
I think I'm just like really good at it. Like. I can't really do many things, but I always feel like I can just like it feels like so like innate, like football and like guitar and like not much else. I feel like when you just like putting your feet over the ball, it just feels like so easy. I don't know. And it's also just like, I mean, like in a really boring way, it's just like a way to really get do a huge amount of exercise without really trying. Like it never gets boring. Week after week, I'm just like, I love football. Like it's, yeah.
Do you have like a team that you support?
No, not really. I did when I was younger. I was really big into like the Premier League in like the 2000s. But I tried to pick it up now, but I just can't. It's too busy.
Yeah. So okay, this might be a slightly leading question. You can feel free to lead it in a different direction. But like I have maybe a theory. I don't know that trans people, potentially queer people generally, but also like trans people specifically, can bring something different to the structure of a space like football, which is traditionally quite like it's run by these like massive corporations, and it doesn't give space to women's football, and like never mind like trans people, and like it's been quite like a traditionally quite an intense space that is like very like the famous football stuff like Premier League is very centered on like winning, and these like, whereas I think a lot of these like grassroots spaces that are being created seem to be a lot more about building communities.
Yeah. I
was just wondering, sorry, I know that I've kind of like answered my version of the question, so feel free to say something else or like say something similar. It's hard for me to ask this one without being like, so here's what I think, but like what do you think that like trans people are bringing to maybe the structure of football?
Well, I guess like everyone's different and they all have different things, but I guess like trans people as like a social group, like I see that like Truck United were playing in like the women's league, and it's like people are like, oh, like you're taking away space from women. It's like, not really. It's kind of like, I mean, like, sure, I understand what you mean by that, but it's like they're kind of forcing people to like see that like when there's nowhere for these people to go, like you have to like, it might start off in the women's league, but now like as with more and more people like joining, maybe like that's where it makes sense to them to go at the moment, and then as it builds traction, there'll be like a trans league open, maybe, you know, like, and I feel like it kind of like draws attention to like, I don't know, it's like a really like mutualistic relationship where like it draws attention to any football that's not like really famous cis het Premier League whatever football. It is way more about community, and like as much as like I kind of lament this, like no one that I know who plays football cares about winning. It's like we're all just like in it to have fun, and it's really nice. So yeah, there's way more of a community spirit. Yeah, I don't know.
No, that's perfect. That was an amazing answer. I was just giving space at the end in case you were gonna say something else that's so good. No, that was really, really good. I don't know if you're gonna listen back to it and be like, oh yeah, no, it makes so much sense. Yeah, no, just off the back of that, I guess as well. It's like, do you have like I mean, I know that you said that you're playing now, but like, just in like a ideal sense, it could be the place that you're at now. Do you have like an ideal space where you feel that you belong? And also, like, do you think that, like, yeah, like, what does an ideal space look like now versus maybe like, I don't know, 50 years in the future?
I don't know. It's really hard because I feel like comfortable with my current team. They're like amazing. No one misses a beat with the whole like trans thing, but I feel like there's not many people that like look like me. Like there's like plenty of like trans women and like non-binary people who might look like similar to me in some ways, but like it's not. There's not. There's a lot of talk about like women's football, but there's not really much about like trans mass football. I guess there's not really have a way to put it. Like, and because it's quite niche, obviously, but maybe it's not. I mean, it's not really, but like, I don't know if I would feel if my ideal future in football would be like playing for like a team where it's just trans mass people. I mean, maybe that would make sense, but like I like, you know, like I'm trans mass, but I still like feel very much like a woman in many ways. Like all my friends are lesbians. Like women's football is like a lesbian thing a lot. Like I don't really feel like I should be like necessarily separate from them in such like a low level sort of thing, just on the basis of what I look like, you know. Sometimes I feel like maybe if I like dressed more like a girl, then would I fit in more, you know. It's just a bit like it's all very like, it seems a lot like surface level speculation. So I don't know, I think it matters more like if everybody's happy, then, you know, maybe these leagues where it's like kind of mixed. Yeah, sometimes like I used to have this big kickabout group where it was mostly like lesbians and like trans mass people, but sometimes we got some like random boys coming to play, and it was just like it worked. It was fine. It was cute. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's really good. And you're not the first person to say that. I think I anecdotally, and I think you probably know this as well. Like a lot of trans mass people also ID or have ID as lesbians, and so I'm not surprised that a lot of people will be like, actually, I really enjoy these spaces.
Yeah. Like I don't want to play football with boys like at all. I probably could play in the men's team, but it's just not why I get to football to like, yeah, to play football, but to like have fun and like have banter and like go to the pub after, you know. Like I have like so little in common with cis men apart from like looking a bit like them, you know.
Yeah.
In general.
That's fair enough. This is, I feel like I'm going like slightly in the wrong direction based on what you just said.
No.
But like, do you know about the match that was on a couple of weeks ago, which was like Truck set it up, and it was it was a totally trans mass team, and they were going against a cis men's team.
Really?
Yeah. And like they lost, but to be fair, they'd also like it was from all over the country, so none of them had actually played together before.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
So.
Like whereas I think the others were like I need to double check on that, but I think they were like Dulwich supporters or something, so they were already probably like had done like stuff like that before.
Do you know what the score was?
It was 8-1.
Oh, they still got a goal.
They did score a goal, and the goalie Frank apparently saved a really did a really good save. So I'm gonna I think if you go on Truck's website, I've been told it's on there. So I'm gonna give that a look.
Was it like I don't know if you know, was it a conscious decision to play like a cis men's team?
Yeah, it was, because it was organised by Truck. So I think there's gonna be another match. I don't think it's going to be against cis men this time, but there's going to be another match in July for Trans Pride Brighton.
Cool.
So I'm like, well, I missed this one because I didn't even know what was happening.
They played at such a big like stadium. I was like, because I emailed them being like, oh yeah, I'll come and play it, and then they emailed back being like, and they had like loads of people saying the same thing. And I saw it, I was like, oh, they're playing like a proper stadium. That's so cool. Yeah.
I think they had like 500 people show up.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, all right, we're popular.
Yeah, right.
That's a new experience. Yeah, sorry. No, it was. I just wanted to tell you about it. I know that's like you weren't really speaking of that kind of like team setup, but I was just like, I just think that's an interesting. Do you have like a really like I don't know like a really strong or good memory of playing at some point, like either as a kid or like or now, that you'd be up for sharing?
Yeah. I mean, have you got any prompts about what kind of?
I don't know, like a memory that sticks out because it like really like it was a really really fun like experience, or it changed something for you, or made you realize that you really love football, or even just like a time that you've really enjoyed spending time with the people that you maybe you're currently on a team with.
Yeah, I mean, apart from this team that I'm joining now, I've only been in for a couple months, but I've been playing like 3 or 4 times a week. Like I have like really really like bad memories of football like growing up. Not in like a bad way, but I mean it's like interesting. I thought that like not like bad, but like as like a girl I was like excluded loads, and like it's like a couple of years ago when I tried to join a team, like I wasn't even on team then, but I still was a bit like, everyone was a bit like, what are you doing here? Even though, I don't know, it's just weird. I guess I looked like a boy even when I was a girl. Like, I during like the pandemic, we started this really big like football kickabout group, and it got like into a kind of team, I guess, and we had like 3 times a week, like 20-30 people like training all together and Hattie Downs. That was amazing. That was great, and we were just like, I wanted that to like last forever because it was so good, and it was all my friends and stuff, and just random people would come every week, and a lot came out of that. That was really fun. Yeah, I don't know.
That sounds really really good.
Yeah.
I didn't realize like so it was like during the pandemic. So like 2021 or
2020.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and it was all that summer, and then sporadically after the next couple of years or so.
I spent most of the pandemic in Germany with my partner and her husband. And we were just, I like literally the day before they closed the airports, I flew into Germany, and then I was basically, I mean, not stuck in Germany because I had a really good time there, but like was basically in Germany for like I think 7 months before anything really opened up again. So yeah, sorry, it's interesting what people were doing during that time. 'Cause,
yeah.
I feel like it's gonna happen that way because your brain builds narratives, I guess. But I have like this like before the pandemic, it didn't feel like there was a lot of initiatives around. I'm gonna keep it very 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 narrow, like trans people in football. And now after the pandemic, it looks like there are different little spaces that are sort of maybe challenging that a little bit. I
mean, there's so many more trans people now. Anyway, like I think that like that's a really big thing. Before the pandemic, like I mean, I started to like during the pandemic, literally like because I was like, now's a good time to try it. But even before that, I had top surgery before that. But I was the only person really I knew who had top surgery, and now I like know literally like hundreds of people. So I think that like trans people in football, but trans people in general, I think as well. At least like in a visible sense, in like a like community sense, like I feel like there's way more spaces for trans people now. So, yeah, for sure.
Despite the like, not that we're gonna go into that. Despite what certain members of certain political parties and other places seem to like fear, it's like, hi, we're more visible now, and what that's done is like make things better for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's interesting because again, I'm aware that I have a very like narrow lens right now because of this project, but I'm like, oh, football's kind of a good microcosm for that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because now like with the when I first started this project, I like could barely find anybody or even any like organizations, and now I'm like, oh, there's several in London, including like, so what were they called again?
Goaldiggers.
Goaldiggers.
Yeah.
Like including the one that you've just talked about. and there's like several being set up in the north as well, which I'm crossing my fingers for because that's where I'm based. Yeah. So could you just like, I know that you already talked about the Goaldiggers just a little bit, but like, can you just, I don't know, could you, I just like a little bit more about the team. I just wanted to be sure, like, are they like, so they're competitive?
Yeah, they play in several different leagues. They have like a Monday night is 5-a-side, Tuesday is 7-a-side, Wednesday's training, and then they have like a 11-a-side, two 11-a-side matches on Saturdays and Sundays, and like a 5. There's like loads of different leagues. You sign up and you can just play in whatever ones you want, basically. Yeah, it's great. There's like, I think over 200 members, and at training we have about 80 people every week.
Wow.
It's quite big, yeah. We have different groups and stuff, but yeah.
And you do that 4 times a week?
Yeah, at my best, at least once or twice a week, maybe 3 times a week. Yeah.
Sorry, no, I'm not like challenging you. I'm just like, oh, that's the dream.
Yeah, I know, it's great, and I always manage to make time for it somehow. I just love it. Yeah. It's great.
Have you done any other sports?
Yeah, not really to the same level. I did like discus in high school, and like played basketball a bit.
Did not expect you to say discus.
I know. I was like, what have I competed in? Like, I just it was so like fucking like lesbian of me. Like, I just randomly threw it and like broke the school record, and I was like, what? So jokes.
You just showed up at the discus.
Literally, I didn't know what it was.
just to win an award and then peace out.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, like, yeah, we're nearly actually at the end already.
Really?
Yeah, because you're very, very good at answering these questions. Yeah, no, yeah, I guess I wanted to ask just a couple of like more cerebral questions, if that's all right.
Sure. Yeah.
So like one being like, in a very broad sense, so you can answer it however you want. Like, what do you wish people were talking about in terms of trans people in let's say transmass people in football, sort of disregarding everything that is being talked about with trans people in sports generally? What do you wish like was being talked about and was being like highlighted, I guess?
About transmass people in football.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's anything really about transmass people in football in the wider media because it's all centered really horribly on trans women, right? But like,
Right.
But yeah, like if there's anything that you wish the conversation were actually about, if it were actually a conversation and not just pretending to be one.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's the same across the board, really. Like, with like trans women kind of suffering like hypervisibility, I think trans men and transmass people kind of just like no one really knows that we exist, I guess. I mean, obviously, but like, yeah. So maybe just that, just like, you know, and kind of, yeah. So I feel like with women's football a lot, there's a lot of like, oh yeah, like we're women and we're lesbian, but like we're not like that. Like, you know, it's kind of like even like fucking what's her name, Megan Rapinoe has got like, she's got like short hair, but she's still kind of like femme. It's like there's like a kind of like a, I guess like maybe I feel like it's kind of like an anti like butchness in women's sports, because I mean maybe I'm like reaching, but I guess that like they already have to fight to like be seen as like women playing like a typically male sport. So like they start like butching up. They're like, oh, you just want to be a man, and there's always like, so I always see it's so fucking ridiculous. You see like women footballers, like they've all got like these huge like ponytails. It's like, mate, just like cut your hair. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like chill out. Like, it's not that deep. Like, you know they want to. They're all lesbian.
I was feeling that way during the like the Women's Cup last year. When it was England versus Germany, where I was like, I'm English and German, so I'm just happy that we're all here.
Yeah.
But like, I was watching it and I was like, your hair is getting in the way constantly.
Literally.
Like, it's not even in a bun, it's like hanging loose.
Yeah.
Or like, it's hanging loose in a ponytail, and I was just like, I used to have a very long ponytail. I know that shit gets in the way.
For sure.
You can't lie to me.
I
I've
know.
been there.
I know. It's like they're trying to cling on to like that some element of like femininity because they feel like playing sports makes them blah blah blah. Like, I get it, sure. but yeah, it just doesn't. I mean, like, there's not many, like, I guess you can like bend it like Beckham. Like Keira Knightley was like so like fit and like butch, and like it was such like a romance between those two. And that random man came in. I was like, "What are you doing?" Like, okay, he was kind of fit too, but like just like stop. I don't know that, I guess, visibility, but just for like people who aren't, not just trans people, sure, but butch lesbians, and because there's a huge overlap, like you said earlier. Yeah.
And
I just think I'm really butch, do you know what
I mean? Yeah, no, sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you. You're all good. No, I think, because, like, just to wind it out a little bit, I know that I'm trying really hard to keep it narrow, my brain is just like, oh, but it's like it's like that sport over there. But, like, it's the way that, like, I mean, women have been punished for being too masculine in various different sports, like cis women. So, yeah, I definitely see what you're saying. And also, because I'm like, there's no way there aren't some, like, really butch women in football. You can't tell me.
Literally.
Like, it's yeah. Anyway, I'm just
like my friend, when I joined this football team that I made during the pandemic, like this was like a WhatsApp group. I just called it Big Gay Football, and then like a friend of mine, Emily, was like, "That's so stupid. Why is it called Big Gay Football? Every women's football team is a gay football team." And I was like, okay, yeah, cool.
It's just like it's a place where gay women will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I never I didn't start out identifying as a lesbian actually. In Denmark, a lot of the stuff when you're a teenager is mixed gender. So I don't know. It was just it's interesting hearing about like women's teams, because I'm just like, oh, this is actually quite different to what I experienced. Because I played with like cis girls and cis boys, and statistically, at least a few other trans people who were not out yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, and like I feel like a lot of the like panic that's happening, I'm like, wait, that's just, I've already been there. I've already done that.
Yeah. It's so annoying, like they wouldn't let me play with like the boys team when I was a kid, but like even though I was like definitely good enough, I'm like a lot better than plenty of the boys. So it's like weird, like it doesn't need to be that like segregated, like at least so early on. It's just not professional. I don't understand, like so yeah, it's weird.
At the time, I mean, I know what you've talked about right now. Just at the time, would you have preferred to have been on the boys team? I know that like.
I mean, there wasn't. I mean, just because like there was a team, it was really, really hard for me to join a football team as a girl, as a kid. Just wanted to, just at school, like the school we had to, like the girls had to play like such boring sports like netball. Like I hate netball. Like the boys had to play like rugby and football. Like yeah, it's boring.
Girls have to be really delicate.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah.
I got bullied for wanting to play football. I was like, oh my god, just leave me alone.
I'm sorry. I understand, like it sucks. I'm pleased that you've found a place that's good for you now.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Cool. I'm gonna ask you my final question. I should not lead it up like that. It makes it sound like it's really, really big. It's just that I like this one as a final question. And also feel free to answer it however you want. Why do you think that queer and trans people should play football? Or should get into football?
I think it's just like football is such like a normal thing. Like I think everyone grows up with it in the vicinity. It's just like I think like people really underestimate how important like not just fitness but like sport as like in contrast to like I don't know, going for a run or going to the gym. Like there's so many elements of sport that like are really like, what's the word, like fortifying for your health or something. Like it's not only is it exercise, it's also like camaraderie and like, you know, like I think competitiveness is like really important in the ability to kind of like work towards something, even if it's like a stupid football game. You know, I think people really, actually I think queer people in general really try to like stamp that out of people, and it will be like level when like it's not that deep. Like I think it can really be like quite good for you to try and like care about something. Like when I'm playing, I don't care really, but like when you're in the moment and you're trying to score, it's like it feels like the most important thing. It's just kind of like there's not really many other spaces where that kind of like can be expressed, I guess. And if you're like working together as a team and you're with friends, it's just like it's like a cool little thing that you and your friends can do, and to build something together, even if it's really temporary. I don't know.
Be cool, play football.
Yeah, it's great. Just like give a shit, you know, it's kind of cool.
I like give a shit.
Yeah.
I like that. Not that I'm looking for a slogan. I was just like, oh yeah, give a shit, play football.
Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, that was great. Thank you so much.
No worries, cool.
I'm really having a. This is me being super selfish and thinking about all this, but I'm really having a good time talking to people.
Well, that's
about
so
it.
great, because usually, like, I feel kind of bad for you having to, like, slog about the country, but it's kind of great that you enjoy it so much. I mean, I would probably enjoy it too, but yeah.
I
No,
hope
definitely.
you do.
Yeah.
Me being like, oh no, I'm making you talk about this.
Oh my god, no, it was great. No.